welcome to Dynamite Delight. I hope everything's alright with you guys. Honestly, everything is fine. There's no major problems. Me, before filming, 8 or 9 cop cars along with at least 1 or 2 vans flew by here at breakneck speed. You wonder who was stupid enough to piss off the cops. They have to call out not 1 vehicle, but about 8 or 9. This is what happens when you live in New York. People tend to be actually very stupid. Stupid. But this is what we got. Now, Dynamite Delight. I gotta say this before anything else. Damn good show, but there was one major problem with it. And that's how it flowed. Look, it had a lot of action in it. It got a lot of suspense in it. But there's an issue where, in this situation, Dynamite did not let each segment have time to marinate. You got to give your people in the arena as well as at home time to process this. This good take this back. Let me be calm. It pissed me off to see that they were rushing so much, throwing so much crap on this show. And it's good crap. But they needed some time to budget this out. Give at least a minute or so, instead of not even giving it a second or two to really sink into the people at home and the people in the stadium, because they had no time at Daily's Place to really process it. They had no time in most cases at home to even process it, and it just did not flow properly. It just didn't. It felt really crammed together, and I don't agree with it. I had to say that. I'm not saying this was a bad show, but it just did not flow right. You needed time with each segment. Now, opening of the show with Taz, putting over not only his boys, but Darby Allin, pretty much saying, my boys are coming. But I'm not taking anything away from you, Darby Allin. You did win the title. Good for you. But you better keep your ass up in the stadiums, because when the TFW champion, the FTW, not the TF, the FTW champion is in the ring, you better not bring your ass down here, because he's going to lay you out. And pretty much he went up against Matt Sydal. You got Cage versus Sydal. A damn good match. A damn good match. And now that Sydal's doing a lot more submission, it's good to see it. In the end, I did not expect Cage to lose. He didn't put the FTW title up. And this is the thing. I can see what some people are saying about the FTW title. And Taz addressed it again, saying, look, this is no actual championship. It has no credibility on any promotion, but it's a way of life. Well, Taz, my boy, he's from Brooklyn. I'm from the Bronx, originally born in Manhattan. My boy, we have a lot in common. We understand things that not many people can understand. But even though I don't really do it much, mostly not at all, I try not to talk shit. It's just not me. Him saying that the title means something, but then meaning nothing, is stupid. The problem here is this. If Cage had had numerous chances to win the title, either the World Championship or the TNT Championship, and he lost all of them because someone interfered, then the FTW title would make sense. But as it stands now, it does not. I wanted it as a mid-card title, maybe to be thrown on Dark, and I know people won't agree with that. But if you're going to have it, why not put a minor title on Dark and leave it on Dark and then sponsor it on Dynamite to make people actually go there and see, hey, Dynamite, smaller channel on YouTube. Well, smaller, how can I say smaller channel, smaller? It's not even a brand. But Dynamite sponsors Dark and says that Dark has a title. It's the FTW title. It means something there. It doesn't mean anything here, but it means something there. And Cage defended, you need to watch Dark to see how Cage defends that title. And then when it comes to a pay-per-view, you know it's got to be defended there. When it means something. That's where it means something. Here, it means nothing, and hearing him say that is just a waste of time. Now, in the end, Sydal gets his ass whooped. And Starks cuts a decent promo. I know there's at least 2 of my subscribers who can't stand Starks. But he cut it pretty well. And they are building both these guys up. One is in 5th place, which is Cage. One is in, no, Starks is in 5th. Cage is in 4th. And they're trying to put themselves over. But seeing the FTW title around, it just, unless you're going to make it mean something on Dark, where it won't mean anything on Dynamite, it means nothing, period. And it's not helping a Cage. It just doesn't. You don't see any vignettes from Cage. You don't see any vignettes from Starks. If either one of them hold the damn thing, it just doesn't mean anything if there's nothing connected to it. That's just me. You guys tell me below. The Cody segment, which was the most rushed segment, that was cringy. I'm sorry, guys. As much as it was not a bad segment at all, it wasn't. It was a good segment that still feels rushed, and it felt a bit cringy because of how Jade Cardell acted. When it came to Cody, he talked very well. He said, I'm done. Not going after the title for now. And I'm proud of Darby Allin. He's earned it. But I'm going after my next target, and that is MJF. Maxwell Jacob Freeman is my next target. But then a Jade Cardell comes out. Sexy piece of you know what. With muscles that are big enough to rip my face off my head. I would say my shoulders, but she'll rip my head off with my face. The woman's jacked. In high heels. She jacked. And then she spoke. She looked great. But the way she spoke was cringy. She didn't feel like she was getting her point across. She was pausing so much. I think she's never really done much promo work on a major promotion. And better yet, she's done very little calm down. The girl sounded cringy. This might have been the first time she's ever had to cut a promo on live TV. And I think she was damn nervous. She was trying way too hard. She might not have been scripting it, but she sounded terrible. She was trying to put herself over. She was trying to belittle Cody, saying, you say you're the Giant Slayer? I don't see anything giant on you. You ain't no real giant. But I do represent a giant that will be coming for you. And she said that giant is Shaq. Now, they said Shaq was at full gear in the back. So the question's going to be, what does that mean? And then we got Brandy coming out. It looked like two damn hood rats going at one another in front of the damn block. If you guys don't know what that means, I'm just, how can I say this? For anyone who doesn't know what that means. You got two women who lives in a project. A place where people live in a government-run high-rise. And they're in front of the building. They both love drama. And they both basically acting like they got no brain. They're just chickens with their heads cut off. And that's what Brandy was acting. And that's how Jade was acting. Even though she didn't say anything, it was her actions after Brandy said, you, who the hell you think you are going near my man? Don't go near my man. Don't try and touch my man. Don't even be staring at my man, or you're going to get trifling from these hands. And then Jade just flips her hair in her face, and she's ready for a fight. That is what two hood rats act like in front of the projects. In front of the spot. I'm sorry, guys, but I had to make it as clear as possible, just in case no one's ever heard that. Look, if you're going to try and bring in Shaq to mess with Cody, great. But the problem here is that it didn't flow properly. It should have been Cody leaving the ring, and then she comes out. Or, better yet, she comes out by herself, and she calls out Cody. Because she says she's been standing by the wayside waiting for her moment, and now she's taken it. I think this should have been built over at least a week or two. She came out saying, I can't stand being at the wayside. I've been waiting for my moment, my spot. I'm taking it now. That could have been the first week. The second week, Cody did this. And then she comes out again and says, Cody, baby, I see you. I see you done your job. I see you done your shit right. I see that you say yourself the Giant Slayer. The Slayer of Giants. Boy, you ain't got nothing that can slay a giant. Definitely not nothing that can slay a woman. But I do know who can slay. And that's Shaq. That's how it should have been. A 2-week period. That's just me. You guys tell me below. I can't believe I just talked like that. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I just talked like that. But that's a New Yorker for you. Anyway, we had the Inner Circle and the induction ceremony for MJF. Now, Matt Hardy did talk before this saying that, Sammy, I said this and I meant it. You have potential to be something great. This moment you had with me will give you something for the future. You had your moment with me. This is your moment. You need to capitalize on now being skyrocketed by a legend like myself. This is your time. This made me think, as I said before, if you guys don't remember, I told you that Matt Hardy may be the catalyst for a Sammy Guevara changing sides. And now we just had the induction ceremony where basically MJF is trying to kiss ass as much as he can do it. Ortiz does not like him still, but then MJF pulls out some tickets to go to Las Vegas so they can go party, which I don't know where they're going to go party. And then after it was over, Sammy Guevara finally shows up during an interview and said, I received one freaking email being told to go to the beach and none of y'all were there. And MJF is trying to say, look, I sent you 2 emails. It was a change. He says, no, I got 1. And Chris is trying to straighten this out like he did in the ring, saying, look, he beat me. He's earned the right to be in the Inner Circle. You want to blame someone? Blame me. I know that these 2, Warlow and MJF, who are now in the Inner Circle, will give us great business. But the way it stands now, you can see that next to Ortiz, not even coming close to MJF, you now got Sammy Guevara, who refuses to even deal with him. That is coming to a head eventually. And I can see Matt Hardy being there. That's just me. You guys tell me below. The Bucks had their moment, their interview, talking about getting the championships. And then not talking about when they're going to be dealing with FTR, but now dealing with a brother tag team like themselves called Top Flight. I don't think I got the image of them together. That's supposed to be advertised for next week. But pretty much, this was about them and Top Flight. I gotta say this. When it comes to the Bucks winning, I do not agree. I think they should have lost the ability to be able to go after the title like Cody. I know everyone else is not going to agree with me, but see it in this respect. If they had stated as long as FTR's holding the titles, they will never go after it, would have been something better. And in 6 months from now, when FTR drops the titles or because of some situation where they can do another tournament, you can have the Bucks go after it again. And they can have the same attitude as they had here. But I really believe the Bucks should have been split up for a little while one's working in the back, the other one is wrestling, and then vice versa. Giving both Matt and Nick some opportunity to do storylines on their own. Yes, they are a tag team, but you don't want them to be boring. And I really believe if they had not gained the titles, you could have done something interesting with each of them separately. Yes, one could still be in the corner of the other one, but you could really say that they have done something other than just being tag team. That's just me, guys. Tell me below. Spears versus Sky. Now, here's the problem. I know that there was a situation with Shawn Spears last week. I didn't talk about it. Mostly due to the fact of I don't know the full situation, what happened with Shawn Spears and Scorpio Sky. It's on Dark. And they don't show any highlights of Dark on Dynamite. This is what they're doing wrong for the men as well as the women that's on Dark. Yeah, they give the wins and losses, but not the context of Dark and the interest to watch Dark. Dark is not as big as Dynamite, and you need to give interest. Sometimes you need to show a video pack of at least a couple of situations that's going on. 2 minutes could be spared from the show to do it. And they need it. Because here, I didn't care. I still like Shawn Spears, and I really like Scorpio Sky, but I don't know what the hell is going on, and I still don't have an interest to watch the dark. In the end, Shawn Spears won because he got a little metal shoved into his hand, and I believe I got the shot in my face. In the end, he wins. What does it mean? Nothing. Just, for me, nothing. Now, we got Conti versus Velvet. You got Jade from Dark Order and Conti's side, and you got Brandy, who's still pissed off about what Jade Cardell did earlier. And here's the problem. You got Conti, who's been in the business how long? 3 years? And Velvet, who's been in the job 4 years. And it shows so bad. If Red Velvet is working with someone who's more experienced than her, it looks great. If Taya Conti, is working with someone who's more experienced than her, she could look great. But when you pair them both up together, where there's a third-year wrestler dealing with a fourth-year wrestler, and both of them still look green, and you stick them in the ring together, you got a very choreographed match that both of them tank out within 5 minutes. They both literally tanked. And then at certain points, neither one of them wanted to sell for each other. It looked bad for me. I know anyone else is going to like it. And I'm sure everyone else is going to like how Conti and Velvet worked. And more power to you. But I am evaluating them for what they did. Yes, Velvet has charisma. She does. And I like her charisma. Conti has something, particularly as she's dealing with Jade going in Dark Order. Maybe she may join them, because after the match is over and Conti won, you can see a member of Dark Order at the entrance watching, hoping that Jade is going to convince her to join. But seeing a third-year wrestler versus a fourth-year wrestler where both of them still shows greenness is bad. It was just so choreographed. It turned me off. And I liked them both. Put them with people that are more experienced than them. Not only learn from either one of those people, but then to hide their shortfallings. They're both still green. They both still don't do the ropes really quickly. They're still kind of ginger on it. I really do not agree with this. But this is just me. You guys tell me. Finally, this is war. 2 segments that were the best of the entire show. Penta versus Rey Fenix. I still like to call him Pentagon Jr. more than Penta. I just don't like it. Pentaciero. No. I like Pentagon Jr. He sounds more pronounced, more official, more substantial than Penta. You guys tell me below. This match became a war. At one point, you got Pentagon ripping Rey's mask. Then you got Rey ripping Penta's mask. You can see that it legitimately was trying the hardest to beat one another and basically break each other's neck. You got Penta doing at least 3 package pile drivers on Rey. And it was ugly. They both had to keep adjusting their masks to keep their identities semi-secret, because that's how luchadors, technicals, I believe that's what they're called. I don't think they're both technicals, but I believe that's one of the faces in Mexico, technicals. I can't remember what the other one is. But technicals do not like to reveal their faces. And these guys reveal most of their faces. So, there you go. This was a brutal, very fast-paced, and hard-hitting match. The only thing that Pentagon didn't do was to try to snap his brother's arm. And in the end, it was Pentagon who won. He won. And you could see throughout it, Kingston was in Pentagon's corner. He was one who set them both up to go up against each other eventually. He wanted Rey gone. Now, once Rey was beaten, he shoved him out of the ring and said, you don't need that Klein. Don't need him. You are with me. It's just me and you. Don't need him. You got this. And I'm the one who can do it. But then, he's in my face, screaming. I wondered if he was back in the country. I wonder if he was back in the States. Pac, whatever the frack you want to call him, is now back. And he is angry. because you got Kingston taking his boys from him. And he's mad because he got his boys taken from him. And now he sees his boys up against one another and trying to tear each other apart. Now he wants to rip Kingston out a new butthole. And now you got Kingston going against Pac eventually. Because next week you're going to have Pac go up against Blade, I believe. I think he's going up against Blade next week. He's going to go through everyone. And I know I could have talked about Butcher and the Blade versus QT Marshall and Dustin, but there's no point. I knew they weren't going to win. They never win on Dynamite. Yeah, they may win on Dark, but they never win on Dynamite by themselves. Never. So there's no even reason to explain what the match was about. I knew they were going to lose. And now you're going to be using Butcher. You're going to use the Blade. You're going to use probably Penta. Or better yet, you're just going to have him go up against Kingston. This is now a war. You got a war with Cody and Darby Allin versus... I don't know if it's going to work out when it comes to Starks and Cage, but at least there'll be something with those four there. Then you got this one, where the Butcher is going to be facing Pac. The Blade eventually is going to be facing Pac. I'm sure that Kingston is the top one there. You're going to probably have Penta going up against him. I don't know if it's going to be Rey. Rey may not, but Penta probably will go up against Pac. But eventually it's going to be Kingston. You got that. You're going to have Moxley dealing with Kenny Omega, which is pretty good. I don't know what's going to happen with Hangman Page, but the question is going to be where they're going to go with him next. This was a lot of show crammed up and didn't flow properly, but I'm not saying it wasn't a bad show. But it's just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.